You have a song titled Ain't Stressing featuring Lil Duval and Rara.
Yes. Rest in
Now,
peace, Rara, man.
yeah. Now, have you publicly commented on his passing?
Yes, of course. I was a friend of mine's. See, stuff like that. I knew Rara for a long time. I knew him for a long, long time. I don't even know how I should mention this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I know Rara from the streets. So, like I said, rest in peace, Rara. But I met him way before I started rapping. Me and him met on the street tip. I used to go to his grandma's house. If you're from the east side of Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about. And I used to go to Rara's house. Shout out to T, too. TJ. Is it Terrell? TJ? I, I know my man T, that was him and Rara was in a group back in the day, signed with Jermaine Dupri. So I knew him since then. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah.
And do you recall what age you were when you met him for the first time?
21, 22 years old. Rest in peace to Mozzie, to Jabril. That's how I met Rara.
Now, when it comes to Rara, what was he really like?
Rara was a great writer. He was a cool dude, very funny, and he just made good music. And he always been kind of like he was kind of that dude for a minute, man. Like he always been kind of fresh to death and always kind of like that dude.
And he's had different eras in his career, from Young Capone to Rara to Dopeboy Ra and
Yeah, I knew
things of
Young
that nature.
Capone when he was doing songs with Mario.
Now, do you remember the last correspondence you had with him before he passed?
Um, yeah. Uh, Shout out to Lil Duval. We did I Ain't Stressing. I don't know if Lil Duval ever talks about that song or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Ra Ra brought that song to me. And he gave me his catalog of beats and records he had, and that song was on there. And he had records with Meek Mills at the time that he wanted to give me. And I went and picked the I Ain't Stressing. And he was like, "Why are you picking this record?" And I told him that I felt the record. I ain't stressing. He was like, everybody in the room was like, I ain't, yeah, that's some shit. I'm like, no, let the people feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't stressing. But I said, we got to put Lil Duval on it. Lil Duval on it. Because he don't, he's living his best life. He's this and that. You know what I'm saying? He has that energy like me. Let's put him on it. And it went, man. It was, I ain't gonna front. That was like one of Duval hits before the hits. You know what I mean? Word.
So that was the last correspondence you had with him before he passed, was creating that song together?
Uh, the last one I had with him, Ra Ra hit me up before he went to Chicago. And he was giving me a compliment on, what I was doing at that time. 'Cause I was just getting like all my flowers, I guess. And Ra Ra tapped in and told me thanks. But I didn't know he had issues like that until I found out something happened to him. So
And was that a text message? Was that a phone
I
call?
spoke to him on the phone.
Okay.
And I
FaceTime or just an actual phone
spoke
call?
to him on the phone and I spoke to him on Instagram. Maybe DM'd a lot. But at that time, I definitely spoke to him on the phone. And like I said, I didn't know he had an issue. He was just showing me love.
And approximately how long do you think that phone call or that last DM was before he ends up
I
passing?
felt like we had like 40 minutes of interaction, maybe a couple of conversations in DM, then a phone call. So yeah, about 40 minutes, an hour. But he didn't pass away till like 2, 3 days later. I didn't know he had an issue. He had like some issues going on. I didn't know. And we didn't talk about that. He didn't tell me. I didn't had no reason to ask him. We were just talking about music.
And how were you notified of his passing 2,
Just
3 days later?
social media.
Now, to switch things up here a little bit, do you have a favorite memory of him you'd like to share with the audience today?
I have a few, Ra, it's my brother. Um, Me, him, and Duval, I got on tape. We performed together at, uh, at the social club, I think, social house around here like that. And we did I Ain't Stressing for the first time. We also went on tours and stuff, but we did I Ain't Stressing for the first time on the tour in front of people. Man, that was like my first time like on the tour rapping the record. Lil Duval came out, T.I.'s, you know what I mean? It was a whole big thing. They had the 5 mic sign out and all that. It was definitely a surreal moment, like going through that. And I remember that a lot. And I also remember specifically him telling me to tell T.I. to sign him every time I see him. And like I used to even text him and be like, yo, me and Tip about to walk in what's the name right now. He used to come outside and stuff like that. So yeah, me and Raw got a lot of history.
And you recall the name of that tour that you're speaking of for
Hustle
reference.
Gang tour.
Now, what's the best advice you received from him? Or most important thing you learned being around him?
Trying to tell you with me, I'm like an OG out here, man. So I learned from Ra. He used to just make me want to just step out better and just be more five mics. But I used to teach him a lot of stuff too. And but yeah, I learned how to be a star from him. Now he's not the only person, but watching watching T, watching Mario, and I'm watching Young Capone changed me at that time. I was no rapper, man, and I was watching them do what they was doing, and definitely inspired me, straight up.
Now, just to backtrack for a second, you mentioned that when you first met him, it was on a street type of tip.
Yeah,
But was he doing music? Was he active with
yeah, he was
music?
already a signed rapper.
Okay, he was.
Yeah, but he used to have people like me around
Got it.
back in the days.
Got it. Got it. Now, when it comes to music, is
Hmm.
that the only song publicly available of you and him together?
I think we on the Hustle Gang album together. I'm not sure. There might be one song me and him on with the Hustle Gang album, but yeah, that's the only song we have.
Is there any unreleased music between you two?
Me and Rara?
Yes.
No.
Just curious there. Now, anything else on the subject of Rara while we're at it?
I just want to give him props for being East Atlanta legend. Um, he's also one of the first people to get a record deal back in the days. Him and T that I was talking about. Like I said, they were signed to Social Def. That was a big thing back then. And, yeah, he's definitely an East Atlanta legend. He was a great writer, and he was a dope human being. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to him, and unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? Due to COVID and due to how much people that I've had personally pass away in the last few years, I've just taken death differently. Like, I remember people from when they was alive. I don't really talk about the death part or what they died from and all that stuff. I just remember the good parts about them. There's too many people.